So once you land on that back, we're going to start with knees bent. So you can put your feet wherever they want to be. So you can just let them hang out wherever they want to be. There's no particular place they have to be. Just let those arms flop open like Shavasana. Close the eyes. And just arrive. Let your body sink into your mat. Take a nice big inhale all the way down into the belly. And then let it go. Exhale through the mouth. So nice big inhale through the nose if you can, if your sinuses are clear enough. And nice releasing exhale through the mouth. And when you exhale, feel that sense of release. Just drop into your mat really heavy. One more time, nice big breath. Soften the jaw. Just come to an easy breath. Feel the breath in the body. Feel the ribs. As you inhale, feel the back side of the ribs press into the floor. Let's take a moment to set an intention for our practice this morning. So it can be anything. It can be a mental, emotional, physical intention, not a goal, but like an intention. Like, I intend to stay present throughout my practice today. I intend to cultivate joy in my practice today. I intend to whatever, fill in the blank. Just find something that resonates for you today. I intend to find peace throughout my practice today. I intend to stay connected to my breath throughout my practice today, or whatever else seems fitting for you today. So just tune in, see if you can find something. Maybe it's two things. Earlier for me, it was peace and joy. My intention for my practice and throughout the rest of my day is to find peace and joy. So just think about that for a moment. Find something that works for you and breathe into it. Breathe it in. Breathe in that intention. Beautiful. All right, let's drop those knees from side to side. So just the feet to wherever they feel like they need to be for those windshield wipes. Just go from side to side. As you go from side to side, so as my knees drop to the left, pull the right knee down. So really that top leg, really focus on that one pulling down as you go from side to side. So when you go to the left, focus on that right knee pulling down and vice versa. And just notice how that feels in the outside of the hip and the back and the thigh. All right, let's take it back to center. So let's lift those hips up and bring them, as you bring them down, scoop the tailbone up towards your belly button. So you're kind of round, you feel like you're curling your low back, you're rounding your low back, and then bring the hips all the way down. Draw the belly button into the spine. So take that belly button to the floor and float those feet up to the sky. So bring the legs together and pull back down through that belly button again. And now all the way up to the heart center. So pull the heart into the floor. Okay, and just feel, and you can even kind of touch and feel those core muscles activated. Okay, so we have to find a home for the hands anywhere. Well, actually today, let's try this. Let's go ahead and bring them along the sides, palms facing down, because we're doing something a little different today. So I haven't done this in a while, so I don't remember where I need my hands to be. So we might try it in a few different places. So legs are closed, heart into the floor. Bring your legs over to the left. Only as far as you can without it straining your back. Listen to your back, Kristen. Slowly, with control, pull your heart down as you bring the legs back to center. Take an inhale. Exhale over to the other side. Don't go too far. We don't want to strain the back. We're just trying to get into those obliques, those outer core muscles. Keep your shoulder rooted to the floor. Slowly come back up. Connect with your heart again. Push it down because it lifts. We're trying to keep that heart glued to the floor as we slowly go from side to side. Okay, so maybe we could do it with the breath. The one thing I want you to focus on most is trying to keep that heart glued to the floor. So let's have the inhale be straight above, exhale over to the side. Inhale, center, reconnect with the heart. Exhale, other side. Heart, don't forget that heart. That's the biggest thing here. It doesn't matter how low. The lower you drop those legs, the more it's going to strain the back. So you've got to be really, you can really work this if it feels okay on your back. All right, the next time those legs come back to center, reach them up and then bring the feet down to the floor. Feet are still together, knees are together. Drop the knees from side to side again. A little different with our feet so close. All right, and then stretch those legs on out, stretch those arms up overhead. Reach through the fingertips, palms are facing each other, reach through the heels. Imagine you're standing in Tadasana, mountain pose at the top of your mat. Draw your belly down into the floor as you reach through the heels and reach through the fingertips. Slowly release into Apanasana, knees to chest. Bring those knees in, give a little rock if it feels okay. Roll on to that left side. Take that left hand down and just set it on top of that right knee or outside of the knee and open up that right arm. Let it just fall open, starting to get into the upper back a little bit, that shoulder. So have your right arm kind of out to a T. So when you drop open, if you're really tight in those pectorals, the front of that shoulder, you'll get a little stretch there. If you're not as tight there, you might not get too much stretch, but if you really focus on sinking into that right shoulder, you'll get a little more stretch. So just let that right arm get heavy and just fall into it. There's no perfect, we don't have to be in any perfect position here. Just let that right shoulder and arm get heavy. You can let the head drop to the right if that feels okay. You don't have to lift up and turn all the way to the right. You can just let it drop. All right, back to center, feet hit the floor, hips lift, come on back down. All right, let's float those legs back up. Actually, let's bend the knees. So the knees are above the hips. And let's keep those arms along the sides for now. Again, because I just want to have a little extra protection for the back, especially for Kristen. So bring that heart down into the floor again and start to draw a circle with your knees. Okay. As you come off to the side, so I'm a little off to the left, I can feel that in my low back. Reconnect with your core. So you've really got to keep that core pulling down into the floor. That's the whole point. It's so easy for the rest of our body to take over here and not make the core work. So we've really got to consciously keep that core pulling down into the floor from the belly button to the heart as you make that circle. Keep your knees close together. See if you can make, and if this bothers the back of your hips, like I have bony back of the hips, outside on my SI joint there. And so you might need a blanket or to grab your mat and double it up or something if that bothers your hips. Let's go the other direction. Heart and belly button drawing down into the floor as you go all the way around. Close the eyes and tune in. Tune into the core. Keep that core pulling down. It's going to change, right? Because we're going off to the side. So what muscles are getting used are going to change, but we just don't want to let that low back pop off the floor too far. All right, the next time those knees come towards the chest, grab them, pull them on in, stretch it on out. This time let's interlace the fingers, flip the palms to face the wall behind you. And this time reach through the toes. Inhale. And exhale, bring those knees back in once again, little rock if it feels good. And roll on to that right side for your twist. So that right hand comes on top of the left thigh and then open that left arm out to a T. So let it just fall open, palm facing up. Sink into that left shoulder. Let the head drop to the left. And just let the body get heavy here. And let that shoulder melt. Feel that weight helping to open up the front of that shoulder. All right, slowly bring it back once again onto the back. Feet hit the floor, hips lift. right? So let's scooch those feet a little bit forward of the knees, not too far. We want to feel like we can still lift our hips up. So adjust those feet so the ankles are not right underneath the knees if they are. And you've got, I don't know, 6, 8 inches or so in between your feet. I know you can't really see them, but just take a guesstimate. We don't need them in a perfect place. Wiggle those shoulders in. Get those arms snugged up right alongside the body. Lift the hips up just a little. Connect with the feet. Press into the shoulders and start to draw the chest towards the chin as you lift the hips up. Think of using the hamstrings as much as the glutes to help the hips lift, and then come back down. Okay, just a couple times, starting to warm up the glutes and hamstrings with this flowing bridge. Okay, so inhale up, chest to the chin, knees to the wall in front of you, right? So try and keep those knees aiming straight forward. One more time. All right, bring it down. Stretch out that left leg, bring the right knee in. Interlace those fingers right below the knee on the shin and just pull on in. Now, if that bothers your knee, go behind the thigh instead and just pull on in as close into the chest as you can. See if you can get that thigh to press into the ribs. It might not. And then draw that left knee down and flex the foot. And then release other side. Come on, right leg straighten. There we go. Pull that left knee in, pull it in, pull it in. Close the eyes and breathe into it. See if you can get that thigh pressing into the ribs. Reach through that right heel, draw the right knee down. Stretch the legs out, keep those feet flexed, so reach through heels. Interlace the fingers and stretch the first fingers up overhead. So reach overhead. So listen to your shoulders here. If your shoulders are tight, you might not be able to straighten the arms. That's okay. Just get them as straight as you can. Draw the belly button down into the floor as you reach through the fingertips and draw the thumbs towards the floor without letting the belly lift. So draw the belly down. And then release. Bring those knees back in. Once again, Apanasana, little rock. Let's float up to our boat. Kick those feet up overhead and see if you can float. And oh, I didn't quite get it. Oh. And see if you can float up into your boat without the feet hitting the floor. I have to give a couple tries to find that balance on that bottom. All right, so we've been doing boat with our feet on the floor. So today we're gonna do it with those feet up off the floor. So lift those shins parallel to the floor. Draw the belly in all the way up to the heart. So get that core activated and let go of the backs of the legs if you're holding them. Stretch those arms out. And then just start to lie back slowly, only as far as you can without straining the back. So keep the heart lifting, listen to your body, gaze at your big toes and breathe. If you want to stretch those legs up, go ahead, if that's available for you, as I fall backwards. See, it happens to even us. Find that breath. And feet come to the floor, bring them together, inch those feet towards you, till you can grab those shins and lift on up and pull the ribs into the thighs and wrap those arms around and give a good squeeze. Give yourself a big hug. And you know what's coming next. This has been a little sequence I've been doing a lot lately. Drop those knees open into Baddha Konasana. All right, so wiggle the sitting bones back. So you're kind of bringing the hips forward. And this might feel better if your feet are a little more forward than usual, but you can play around with it. So instead of grabbing the feet this morning, we're gonna bring the hands outside the hips. So bring those hands outside the hips, like right up against the back of the hips, and just bounce the knees. Oh, I gotta go a little further away. Bounce those knees up and down. So if I have my feet too close on this one, it bothers my knee because I don't have any cartilage on the inside of this knee. So if you feel that, try adjusting the feet. You don't have to bounce these knees up and down if it doesn't feel good. I just like the energy that it gets flowing, and I like all these muscles that are, this dynamic movement is what we need to get the muscles warmed up before we stretch them. All right, let's hold the pose. Draw the knees down, readjust the feet to closer if that feels good. Wiggle those sitting bones back again. Draw the knees down, lift the heart up, shoulders back and down. Close the eyes, lift the heart, draw the knees a little lower to the floor. And draw those knees towards each other. Scooch the feet out wide. Open the toes up. Get those hands right outside those hips again. Push into them so you can push your butt up off the floor and start walking those hands forward until you can get into your yogic squat. So drop that bottom as low as it will go. Take those elbows and push those knees away as you drop the bottom low and sit up tall. Heels are on the floor if they can be. Maybe they can't quite get there. They might need to go a little wider. Find the breath. Try and feel the whole foot so you don't feel all of the weight in one part of the foot or the other. You can try and find that padasana, and your feet can be a little more challenging to find it here. All right, slowly inhale up. Bring those arms up overhead as you go up. Nice inhale, reach up. Little tiny baby back bend. Just lift that heart. Exhale, back down. Only as low as feels good. If it bothers anything, the hips, the knees, to drop that butt really low when we do this, just do a half one. You don't have to drop all the way back down. Inhale up. Exhale, sink as low as feels right for your body. Push those knees open though when you get there, even if you're not in perfect yogic squat. Inhale up. One more time, exhale down. And up, inhale. And release those arms down along the sides. Turn those toes forward so we still have this wide stance. Hands to the heart. Bend the knees. Inhale up. Exhale, dive, arms to a T. Dive down until you get a stretch in the hamstrings. And then lift back up a little bit, bend the knees, and sweep those arms forward alongside the ears. Reach from the sitting bones to the fingertips. Draw that belly in. And take it to the floor. Drop it down into ragdoll. Let those arms dangle from the shoulders. Get heavy. Let that head get really heavy. Maybe get a little yes or a little no, or just wiggle the head around. Trying to get it to loosen up a little bit. Get that neck to loosen up a little bit. And then drop. Feel the arms just falling from the shoulders. Feel the head just falling from the neck. The weight of the arms and head is helping to open up the shoulder joints, the upper back. The weight of the head is helping to open up the upper back, those cervical and thoracic, that cervical and thoracic spine, gently being pulled in the opposite direction that it gets squished down in all day as we sit and stand. All right, let's take it up nice and slow. You can come up with a nice rounded back and let those arms dangle, let the head drop into the chest all the way up if that feels okay, or you can engage the core and lift up with a flat back if that feels better. Arms come back up overhead, hands to the heart. Our staff of Brahman flow. All right, nice big inhale back up. Let's get that breath going. Inhale. Exhale, dive. Nice big inhale overhead, slight bend in the knees. Nice, releasing, exhale to the floor. Let it go. Drop, drop, drop. Get heavy, get heavy, get heavy. Nice, big inhale up when you're ready. Stretch those arms out. And back to the heart, exhale. Again, connect with those breaths. The movement doesn't matter too much, right? We're just flowing. We're trying to touch as much of the body here as possible, but there's that magical synchronicity of the breath as you flow from one place to the other. So don't worry about doing anything perfectly or remembering the flow. Just keep moving. Let's go one more time. All right, let's step those feet on in to our railroad tracks. So 4 to 6 inches in between those feet, give or take. All right, hands back to the heart. Nice big inhale up. Exhale, dive it down, Uttanasana. So grab the backs of those legs wherever feels right. For me, it's kind of right. I start right below the knees. Pull the shoulders back, pull the heart forward, and then draw that belly towards the thighs, only as much as feels good. We're still warming up those hamstrings, so don't force them too far. You just want to feel a nice stretch. All right, let's bend those knees. Step that left foot back to low lunge. And square off the hips. Get nice and square. Lift that back knee up, press back through that heel, and just lengthen. Okay, so if you want a little more challenge here, feel free to bring those arms along the sides or interlace behind the back. You can keep the fingertips on the floor or use blocks if you want to. Just breathe here and focus on that back knee lifting up and pressing back through that heel as you sink the right hip down, trying to get the right hip as low as the knee. Might not happen. Find the breath. Go ahead and slowly drop the knee down. Keep those toes tucked, rise up. Bring the hands to the thigh, that right thigh, and push away from that thigh as you push your heart to the wall behind you until you start to feel the front of that left hip. Keep the breath going. See if it feels okay to bring the left arm up. See if it feels okay to draw the left arm back. If it doesn't, then don't go back. Keep the breath going. Reach through the fingertips. Lift the heart. Breathe. Take a nice inhale. One last little reach. Slowly release all the way to the floor. Plant that palm down. Open that right arm up. Push away from the floor. Reach for the ceiling. Let that back foot rest down now as we twist. So pull open through the shoulder. You might inch that left hand in a little closer to the foot so we can really get open here. You might feel it in the outside of that right hip, but we're also trying to get into the upper back. So keep pushing away from the floor as you reach. Keep that arm to a T and think about the shoulder opening as much as the arm. So the arm is pulling back, but hug that shoulder blade into the back to really get that shoulder open. Good, slowly release. Come on back to center. Tuck those back toes under, lift the knee up and spin to the left into wide-legged. So do a little foot adjusting there to get your feet even with each other. So the toes are the same distance away from the edge of your mat. Then walk those hands forward until your hip is in line with your ankles. Take a nice inhale, half lift. Exhale, hinge. So if you're really tight here, you might end up staying on fingertips or using blocks. You might end up coming down to the palms if that's easily available, but find that nice long flat back. So we don't want the back to round. So if you have to use something underneath your hands, then do that. Find the just right amount of stretch. All right, and then hands stay underneath us. Open out those toes, so open those feet on up and just shift from side to side. So let's go a little wider with the hands and walk them in a little closer to us and just shift from side to side. Most of the weight is in the legs, so we're kind of just using the hands for balance. So it doesn't matter kind of where the hands are. You can just flow from side to side freely. If you want to use that elbow to push the knee open to get a little extra stretch, feel free. Trying to get into those inner thighs and groins. All right, back to center. Turn those toes back forward. Walk the hands forward and keep going with those hands into a wide-legged down dog. So now you want your hips kind of in line with your toes to start. So that's about how far forward you'll walk your hands. Open up those fingers, press into the palms, and then press back, just like we do in our down dog. And I went a little too far because my hips aren't quite in line with my ankles. So I'm going to walk the hands back a little bit. We don't have to have the hips right perfectly in line with the ankles. We just don't want the butt to go past the heels or ankles. So they can be a little forward of them. If you want a little different stretch, you can try pigeon toeing your toes in, your heels out. So watch those ankles, though. Make sure that feels okay. All right, now let's turn those feet back square if you did that. And then push back, draw the belly in, and start to draw the nose towards the floor. Getting into those shoulders a little bit. You can bend the knees if you need to make this a little more accessible. If it's too much stretch in the backs of the legs. When you bend those knees, it gets a nice stretch in the calves. So everybody gives that a little try. Just bend, a little soft bend in the knees, not a big stretch. Not a big bend, just a little one. Feel that stretch if you sink into the heels. Shoulder stretch and calf ankle stretch. Multitasking. All right, slowly lift up. Walk those hands towards you. Ooh, shoulders. Slowly rise up to standing. Scooch those feet in. A little bit somewhere, a little shorter stance. Stretch those arms out to a T. 5-pointed star. Left arm down, right arm up, reach high. So let's keep the arm about halfway, so it's not right up alongside the ear. So it's kind of halfway, palm facing up. Take a nice inhale, reach out through those fingertips. Exhale, slide, don't move the arm closer. Slide the left hand down the leg as far as it will go without rolling forward, without letting that right shoulder roll forward. Engage your core and just keep going until the side body says, okay, that's it, that's all I got. Breathe, notice, and very, very, very slowly start to bring that arm closer. Only as close as feels good. Listen to your body. It might not move at all. It might not come any closer. Breathe. Trying to get all the way down into the outside of that hip if possible. All right, we want lots of core to bring us up. Pull that belly in, core, 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 core. Back to our 5-pointed star. Okay, other side, let that right arm drop down. Lift that left arm up a little bit, palm facing up. And slowly make your way over to this side. Arm is the very last thing to come into it. I find myself rolling my ribs on this side. I got a little something going on in this hip, so I gotta be careful with this one so that I don't roll. And then see where that arm can go. Keep the breath going. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Again, lots of core. Pull the belly way in, all the way up to the solar plexus to lift you back to 5-pointed star. Inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale down through heart center. Turn the toes out, drop the bottom down. Keep going, drop that bottom down. And then lean forward, bring the hands to the floor. Heels go out an inch, kind of heel toe those feet wide. Back into our forward bend. Hinge, find your stretch. Then the knees start to spin back to the right. You're gonna be kind of wide-legged there. You might have to readjust a little till you can hop that left foot out to the side and square off to the front of your mat. Lift that knee up again, back to where we started. Rise up slowly, nice and slow, hands to the hips. You might have to adjust that back foot a little bit so you can get solid here. Square off those hips to the wall in front of you. Belly button to heart, pull it to the wall behind you. To try and get into the front of that left hip again. Pull the knee back, draw the heel down, even though it's not gonna touch. This is plenty right here. We're just trying to say hello to the front of that hip. If you want more, you can bring those arms up. If you're looking for even more, you can lift that heart and go back like we did in our, when we had our knee down. Nice inhale. Exhale, slowly release all the way down, fingertips to the floor. Hop that back foot forward, railroad tracks. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hinge. All the way up. Notice the difference between the two hips right now. All right, let's do the other side. Sorry guys for somebody's having connection issues. Kristen, you back?
I am, thank you. I did both sides.
Okay. No worries. No worries. Just it gave me a ding to let you in, and then once you were in it, the doorbell rang again. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought she was in. All right, hands to the heart. Nice big inhale up. Exhale, dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend those knees, step that right foot back. Nice big step back to that low lunge. Whatever you did on the other side, so if you used blocks, grab those blocks. If you used fingertips, you'll stay there. Let's get that back leg situated before we bring the arms up though. Lift the knee up, press back through the heel, lengthen. Then float those arms along the sides. If you did this on the other side, so only if you did this variation on the other side. If you interlaced, then interlace. Wherever you were on the other side, find the breath and just keep lifting up that knee and pressing back through that heel and lengthening. Try and find a long straight line from our right heel to the crown. And slowly starting to bring that knee down. Keep those toes tucked. Rise up, find that thigh. Okay, belly button to heart. Pulls to the wall behind you. Kristen must be having connectivity issues. She's gone again. So belly button to the heart. Okay, let's see how it feels to bring that right arm up. Keep connected with that belly button to heart, that Uddiyana Bandha, if you will. Okay, reach up. See how it feels to go back. Listen to your body. If it doesn't feel good, please don't do it. Lift the heart and reach through the fingertips, whether you're going back or not. Keep that breath going. Reach, take a nice inhale. Exhale, slowly release all the way to the floor. Plant that right palm down, bring it in towards center. Swing that left arm open, push away from the floor, reach for the ceiling, and open that shoulder. So you can kind of just sink into that right hip, let it just fall towards the floor as you open up. The further we get that arm open behind us, the more we'll get into that upper back. Turning the head to the left as we look out that arm. Slowly release. Back to center, tuck those back toes under, lift the knee up, spin to the side. You might have to flip around to stay facing me, or maybe you already did that on the other side. Into our wide-legged forward bend. And maybe you don't need to, maybe you're fine. Right where you're at, find that stretch. All right, getting back into those inner thighs a little bit. Left palm underneath the nose. So use a block if you need to underneath that palm to raise the floor up. Okay, and then open that right arm up. Bring it right behind the back. So right around the back, slide that right hand over towards the left hip. Get that arm as far around the back as it will go. If you've got really long monkey arms like me, you might be able to reach around towards that inner thigh. Okay, push away from the floor. Open up that right shoulder. Now bring your left hip down and open your right hip up towards the wall we're facing. It's like you're drawing your left inner thigh towards your right inner thigh. Breathe and notice. Bend the knees a little as you slowly start to release. Other side, take your time, get that palm right underneath the nose. Start to open up, bring the arm behind the back. Wrap it around, see how far around behind you can get that arm. Straighten the legs back out if you can. If you have to keep them a little bent, that's okay. You're just not going to get quite the same stretch on the inner thigh. That's okay though. It's not going to damage anything. Open up that left hip. Draw that right inner thigh towards the left. Push away from the floor. Open up that left shoulder. Breathe. Breathe, 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 breathe. Bend the knees, slowly release. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hinge. And all the way back up to our 5-pointed star. Scooch those feet in a little bit. Okay, arms stretch back out. Okay, let's start make little circles with those hands. A little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. Really big, like you're sweeping your thighs and raising up towards the ceiling. So you're just drawing this really big circle. And let momentum take over. If this feels like that, this does not feel great on my shoulders, because when I do this, I have bone on bone. So one direction feels better than the other. Really gotta engage my core on this one. Stay solid. Other direction, you'll find one direction seems more natural and easy than the other. Let's let those circles start to get a little smaller, just a little smaller, a little smaller. Stretch out, reach out, draw the belly in, stand up tall, let those arms rest down. Whew. All right, so let's go back to just a little, well, let's keep the feet here actually, because you might widen your feet, you might not. So let's see how it feels. Let's go ahead and open those right toes to the side, okay, or to the front, might be back, depends on what way you're facing now, okay, and open up those hips best you can. We're going to go from reverse triangle to triangle. We're gonna float in and out of it. We're not looking for our deepest triangle right now. We're just kind of moving these hips basically like this as we go back and forth between the two, all right? So let's bring that right arm up. Take a nice inhale, slide that hand down the leg like we did in our 5-pointed star side bend. Draw the belly in, use your core, arms come out to a T as you flow down into your Trikonasana triangle pose. Try not to lean forward at all. Try and stay right over those hips. Inhale up to center, exhale, reverse. Inhale, center, exhale, triangle. Inhale, use your core, floating you from your reverse, back to center, engage the core, down into your triangle, engage that core again when you lift up. One more time. And back to center, let the arms float down. We're just gonna flip those feet to the other side, the other direction. All right, so open up to the side a little bit. Stretch those arms out. Nice inhale here. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, center. Use that core to float you back up to center. And the exhales take us into our pose. Don't forget that core. Don't use that core. The back has to work too hard to get us back and forth. One more time. The next time you finish triangle and end up back at center, we'll finish there. So flip those toes back to the side into our 5-pointed star. Inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, dive it down. Widen those feet a little bit. Back into our forward bend, Prasarita, Padottanasana. Find your stretch. Bend the knees, start to spin back towards the front of your mat. Step it forward. Nice inhale. Exhale, hinge. And all the way up. Now we're a little more even in those hips. Nice inhale up. Exhale, dive it down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step those feet back to plank. So take a moment, look back at those feet, get them on your railroad tracks, those 4 to 6 inches apart. Shift forward, get those wrists right underneath the shoulder joints, spread those fingers, push up, drop the knees down. So toes are tucked, knees are down. Knees down, plank, push up, 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 up. Gaze in between the thumbs. Draw the belly in, belly button to solar plexus. Again, Uddiyana Bandha. Pull it in. This isn't really Uddiyana Bandha. It's why I stopped calling it Uddiyana Bandha, but I gotta find another name to call it so it's not confusing. So that's why I keep saying belly button to solar plexus instead of Uddiyana Bandha, because technically this is not even close to Uddiyana Bandha. All right, push up, 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 up. Inhale. Exhale, lie down. Inhale, baby cobra. Squeeze those glutes. Exhale, come down. Inhale, press the pubic bone down into the floor. Squeeze the glutes. Shoulders back. Draw those shoulder blades towards each other as you push the heart away from the floor. Come back down. One more time. And come on. Down all the way till that forehead hits the floor. Let's stretch that right arm out to a T. Straight on out, palm flat. So the wrist might be a little bit higher than the shoulder. We should have it a little bit higher than the shoulder. Get that, am I in here, Mitch, or not? I don't think so. Take that left hand right underneath that shoulder. If I'm saying your lefts and rights wrong, I'm sorry. All right, so you push into that left hand to start to push you open to the side. Lift the ribs right up off the floor. Pull your right shoulder towards the left as you slowly bring that shoulder all the way down to the floor. Try and keep the head lifted as you can. Get that left hand a little closer so it's right up against the chest to support you. You might be able to push open a little bit more. If you're really open here in the shoulder, you might be able to bring the left arm along the side. This is not for everybody with this arm along the side here. Keep that hand underneath you to support you if you need it. Okay, bring that hand back down to the floor if it's up. Roll back onto the belly. Bend the elbow until the wrist is right above the elbow, so this 90-degree angle. Same thing, but our shoulder's not going to come to the floor this time. So same thing, push open, pause, lift the ribs up, spin open to the side as much as you can. Bring the ribs down, but not the shoulder. Your elbow might inch up a little bit. And then get that left hand really close to support you. Pull your shoulder away from the elbow. And open up as much as feels okay. Listen to your body. If you're really tight in those pecs, this is an intense stretch. Slowly roll down. Other side, stretch that arm out to a T. Look at it. Make sure that wrist is just a little higher than the shoulder. Roll open. Get that right hand close. Lift up. Open up to the side. Come all the way down to the shoulder. And then push open. See if you can come to wherever you came to on the other side. Inevitably, one side is different than the other, tighter than the other. Keep breathing. All right, bring it back. Use that hand to help you. Okay, bend that elbow. Look at it before you go. Maybe the elbow starts a little bit higher than the shoulder. Take your time. This side might be different. Don't assume. Don't forget to lift those ribs and roll open to the side. And then bring the ribs back down and then pull the front of that left shoulder towards the side we're facing. This side is tighter. Breathe in. The legs are doing whatever they need to do. Mine's kind of floating in the air, trying to pull back to open me up a little bit more. Whatever the legs need to do, it doesn't matter as much here. Slowly release once that shoulder feels okay. Back to center. All right, get those palms back under the shoulders. Press that pubic bone down, squeeze the glutes a little. So when you press up into your cobra, you should feel like you can move the shoulders. So press up and just see if you feel like you can roll the shoulders forward and back, forward and back. If you don't feel like you can do that, adjust your hands. If your hands are too far back or too far forward, you're gonna have less movement in the shoulders. So find that place for your hands where you feel like, yeah, I can wiggle my shoulders. All right, and then draw the belly button away from the floor, squeeze your glutes some more, draw those elbows down and draw the shoulder blades together as you pull the heart towards the wall in front of you into cobra pose. Try not to let those toes leave the floor. If it feels okay, you can try lifting the chin. That might be too much though. Breathe. Slowly come down, nice and slow. Tuck the toes. Get those big toes nice and tucked. Push up strong. And nice and slow, take the hips back to the heels. Keep those toes tucked as you stretch out all those muscles we just used to get us into that cobra pose. And slowly lift up to downward facing dog. Find whatever feels good here. Yogi's choice. Just find some movement that feels good. There's no right or wrong. All right, let's bend those knees and walk those feet to the front of our mat. We're going to take the feet wide as they would be for Stafford Brahman or Ragdoll. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, hinge. Those hamstrings are a little more warmed up now. So go ahead and find a nice stretch, as deep as feels good. Long spine. Reaching heart, so we're not letting that heart tuck in at all. We're reaching it away from the belly button as we find the stretch. Pivot those hips forward. And bend the knees, drop the arms. Let's grab the elbows this time. So grab those elbows if you can and drop on down into ragdoll. Let those arms get heavy, let the head get heavy. So the arms are falling from the shoulders, but you're gently hanging on to those elbows. Soften the jaw. Take a nice big inhale through the nose if you can. Nice releasing exhale through the mouth. you can't breathe in through the nose, then both breaths go through the mouth. Again, connect with that sense of release and letting go, that dropping on the exhale. Make some noise. One more time. And drop the arms. Lift the head, fingertips to the floor. Turn the toes open. Drop the bottom down. And bring the hands to the heart. Back into our yogic squat. Push those knees open. Lengthen. Draw the belly in. Sit up tall. And then bring the hands behind you, right outside the hips, until you can catch yourself. And start to walk the hands back until the bottom can hit the floor. Stretch those legs on out. You might scoot yourself back a little bit more so you can stay on your mat. Wiggle those sitting bones back. Draw the shoulders back and down and find your forward bend. Use a strap, use your legs, use outside the hips to get as much stretch as feels good. If you're really tight here, shift the ankles forward to get more into the hamstrings. If you're a little more flexible, a little more open, then flex those feet and maybe you go for the toes, but only if you can maintain that flat back. So keep that heart reaching forward once again, trying to keep that heart pulling away from the belly button. We're keeping that belly button pulling forward all the way through to the heart. And slowly release, rising up. Let's bring that left foot over the right leg. And let's get into the outside of that hip a little bit. So let's scooch. We don't even need to worry about where the foot lands. Let's do it this way. Lift the knee right up. Foot floats right off the floor. Interlace your fingers below your knee and pull your knee up into your chest as you sit up tall. So you're pulling the heart and the knee together. Then just set that left foot down wherever it lands. Wrap the right arm around to hold that leg in place. Sit up tall again. Inhale, exhale, twist open to the left. Sink into that left hip and sitting bone. Push down into it as you sit up tall. Close the eyes. Keep going till the body says stop. Let's flex that right foot while we're at it. Reaching through the heel to get that energy line going down that right leg. You can let the left hip pull open with you as you pull the knee in towards the armpit to try and get into the outside of that hip a little bit. And slowly release. Let's drop that knee down so the ankle lands on top of the thigh. We're gonna have to bring it up a little bit probably because we don't want the ankle pressing on the kneecap. So you might have to bring it up on the thigh a little bit more. Flex that left foot, sit up tall, pull the hips forward as you start to come forward. Keep that heart reaching. And slowly release, bring that foot inside the knee. So you might have to inch that right leg over a little bit as you bring that left foot inside the knee or thigh. Lift up, pull the sitting bones back and the hips forward, and then come on forward. I like to use the ankle, so I grab right onto that ankle. So grab onto that left ankle, shoulders back and down, heart up, and come on forward. You might be, if you're tight here, you can use that right hand right outside the hip, press into those fingertips to help push forward. If you have a strap, you can have it hooked around that right foot. And of course, if you can easily grab the toes without rounding the back, feel free to use the foot. Come straight forward. Find the breath. Janu Shirshasana. I think the candles just went out. I can smell that smell. Yes, come on up. Take that left arm up, reach nice and high. Inhale, exhale, come on over. Take your time, coming into your side bend, root down into that left hip. Keep going. All the way up, sit up tall again. Inhale, exhale, twist to the left. Use that right hand against the knee to push open into your twist. Keep going till the body says stop. Roll open so you can get into that upper back. Turn the head into the twist. And come on back. Go ahead and stretch that leg out. Let's keep them a little wide. Come on, leg. So they're as wide as they would be for ragdoll. Kind of wiggle those sitting bones back. Find your forward bend. You can have the ankle shifted forward, or you can flex. Ooh, I just pointed my toe and got a stretch in the front of the ankle. That's different. All right, let's bring it back. Let's scooch those legs back in close. Grab that right knee and kind of lift up and bring your right sitting bone forward a little bit. I should have said that on the other side. Hug that knee into the heart, sit up tall, squish them together. Then let that right foot hit the floor. Wrap that arm around to hold that leg there. Start twisting, reach through that left heel. You're not trying not to lean in any direction. You're trying to stay right over the center of the hips. Roll that right shoulder open. Turn the head into the twist, but don't force it. Find the breath. Find the twist. And come on back. Reach that right arm up. Nice big inhale. Exhale over to your side bend. Keep going. And come on up for our figure four. You might scooch that left foot over just a little so it's straight out from the hip. Drop that right knee down. Make sure you have no pressure on the kneecap. So move that ankle up if you need to make sure there's no pressure on that kneecap. And then come on forward. Usually one side is tighter than the other in this stretch. Take your time, using whatever you need to use to get some leverage to pull the heart forward. So strap once again, or the hand even outside the hip helps. Keep that breath going. And release. Bring that foot inside. Again, you might scooch that left foot over a little bit now so we can keep the hips square. And get that foot wherever you had it on the other side, somewhere between the knee and upper thigh. Drop that right knee down as you come forward. Again, using whatever leverage you can find. I use the ankle to grab onto to pull forward, and then sometimes I push on the outside of the hip. For me, I've got these monkey arms so I can grab my toe, but find some leverage to help you maintain that nice flat back. Keep the breath going. For Janu Shirshasana. Janu is knee, Shirsha is head. Asana is pose. Head to knee pose. And come on up and slide that left foot in to meet the right into our Baddha Konasana. Let's see how this feels now. Kind of rock from side to side, freeing up those sitting bones. Sit up tall as you draw the knees down. Pull the hips forward as you draw the knees down. You might grab the feet and try and pull them apart. The insides of the feet, try and pull them apart like a book. That often lets the knees draw down a little more. But as you do that, try and pull the hips, the hip points I call them, the front bony part of the hips. Try and pull those forward. Or you can also think about it as the belly button, trying to pull the belly button forward. And release. So come into a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. If cross-legged easy pose is easy for you, great. If you want to throw a prop underneath you, go ahead. If you want to come around to kneeling with a prop underneath you, feel free. Whatever works. We're just going to work with this upper body a little bit. Okay, so get comfy wherever that might be. And just tuck that chin into the chest. So don't let the upper back round. So it's like you're drawing the back of your chin into your voice box. And then lift the chin up towards the ceiling. So again, we're not just going back and dropping the head back. We're just moving the chin up and in. Up and in. One more time. And then side to side to the right ear. Or to the right ear to the right shoulder. Left ear to the shoulder. Shoulder, ear to shoulder, from side to side, right? So we can do that with the breath. Center is always our inhale. Exhale is to our side. Just going from side to side, saying hello to that upper trapezius. attaches into the base of the neck, attaches into the outer shoulder, and then the whole trapezius there's 3, upper, middle, and lower. But they're all one, they're all together. We call them separate things, but it's one muscle set. All right. Coming on back to center, sit up nice and tall. Let's interlace the fingers behind the head. So I'm going to go sideways again for this, because the important piece to this is that chin, the back of the chin, moving in towards the throat box while we keep the back straight and long. So we don't let the back round as we come in, okay? So on the inhale, open the shoulder, open the elbows. You've got your hands interlaced. You're cradling your head with your hands. You're letting your head kind of fall into your hands as you reach the elbows away and open up. And then exhale, don't round. So sit up tall, use your hands to push your chin into your throat. And then draw the elbows towards each other. Okay, I don't know if we're going to be able to have enough breath to do this with the breath, but let's try. So inhale, open up, lift that chin, open those elbows. Exhale, slowly draw the elbows together, but pull on the back of that head to push the throat in, or the chin into the throat. Sit up tall when you do that though. See if you can coordinate it with the breath. I feel like that exhale, that until you really get used to the dynamic of that stretch, the exhale is not enough time to hold that stretch. So you be the judge. Maybe you take an extra breath there. I was teaching this to one of my trainees recently because she's preparing a sequence that has plow pose in it. And so this was one thing I taught her to get the neck ready and upper back ready for plow pose. Okay, the next time those elbows come in, sit up tall, push really right on the back of that head, push that throat. God, I can't say it right. Chin into the throat. Sit up tall, draw the belly in, and then see if you can get those elbows a little closer. And then very slowly, just release those arms. Let the hands land on the thighs or knees. And then draw that right ear towards that right shoulder. Set it right this time. Reach that right hand up. Grab the outside of the head, that left side of the head, and draw the head down. Draw the left shoulder down, getting a little deeper stretch in the upper trapezius. Close the eyes and breathe into it. So you're not just pushing down, you're kind of pulling away. So readjust that hand if you can, so you kind of feel like you can grab somewhere, a bony part of the skull, to gently pull, just gently. We don't have to pull vigorously as you gently draw that left shoulder down. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Okay, release the hand first down to the floor. Lift the left shoulder up, then lift the head. Okay, other side. Wrong one. Left ear to the left shoulder, reach up, grab the outside of that right ear and draw the head down to start. Then draw that right shoulder down and then gently pull away from the shoulder. Close the eyes, tune in, sit up tall. Breathe. Notice how this side feels compared to the other. This is one of those stretches that I wish I could come and do for you. It's nice, it's a productive stretch on our own, but if I could come and just put my hand on the top of your shoulder, I could just stretch it out that teeny bit more. Soon, soon, soon. All right, stages, please. Hand comes down first. Right shoulder lifts, head lifts. Relax the shoulders down, give those shoulders a little roll. Stretch the arms out to a T, sit up tall. Cross the left arm over the right. So it's like you're trying to draw an X with your arms. So see if you can get your elbows crossed past each other. So you're almost trying to make the X in your upper arm. Oh, hey, I've got long arms. The knees help, right? So it's like you're reaching your left fingertips to the right wall and your right fingertips to the left wall and just trying to cross them and hug the arms close, bend the elbows and squish them together, palms facing out. Draw the hands towards each other. You might be able to catch the inside of that thumb with your fingertips. If you turn the palm towards you, that left palm to face you, you can touch the backs of the hands against each other as well. So the back of the left hand can press into the palm. So that's one way to do it as well if you can't quite get those, catch the inside of that thumb. Okay, sit up tall again. Draw the shoulders down as you lift the elbows up. Only as high as feels good. Listen to your shoulders. Breathe. If this is really intense, then just stay here and breathe. If you want a little more, same dynamic we've been doing with the chin. Draw the chin in towards the throat. Breathe. Lift the head if it's tucked. Bring the elbows down. Unwind the arms, stretch out. Bring that right arm over. Make your wiggle those arms as close up the arm as you can. You're trying to make that X way up the arm and squish them together. Keep them the closer you have the arms to you, the easier it'll be to get those elbows squishing. Wrap them around best you can. Whatever you had to do on the other side. Sit up tall. Shoulders down. Elbows up. Ooh, this side's tighter. Breathe. Maybe this is your more open side. Just notice. Find the breath. Sit up tall. If you tucked the chin on the other side, give it a go on this side. So lift the head if it's down. Bring the elbows down. Stretch out those arms. Bring the hands behind you, interlace. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. So kind of lift the shoulders up, back, and down. So that makes when I do that, I've got those long arms and my fists end up hitting the floor. So I'm going to move my hands back a little bit so that I can extend those arms. And if you're tight in those shoulders, those elbows might be bent, those hands might not come close to the floor. It just kind of depends on how open you are. And see if you can lift the heart a little bit. Maybe the chin lifts too. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades together and pressing back through those hands. Breathe. And very slowly release and bring it down onto your back. Well, before you go, grab anything you need for your final relaxation. Shut the shades, turn off the lights, grab an eye pillow or a washcloth or something to cover up the eyes, maybe. We're gonna do a couple more little things down here, but grab what you need so you have it close. Blankets, props, whatever you need. Okay, and then we'll all meet in Apanasana, knees to chest. And so again, if it feels good to rock from side to side, feel free to rock. As always, if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. All right, let's go ahead and stretch out that left leg, bring it to the floor. Pull that right knee into the chest and then release it over into a twist. Bring it on over to the left. Try and keep the knee in line with the hip as you come over and open that left arm out. So that right hand is coming down and gently pressing on the knee, just gently, as, I think I said that wrong because I think I'm on the same side as you. Left hand to the right knee. Draw that shoulder down. So you're gently feeling the shoulder and knee pull away from each other, only as much as feels good. Slowly going deeper as is appropriate for your body. Staying tuned in. All right, back onto the back. Let those feet come to the floor, knees bent, lift the hips up, come back down. Go ahead and stretch out that other leg. Bring that knee on in. Squish it in. And then release into your twist on the other side. Again, drawing the knee and shoulder away from each other as you slowly deepen into the twist. Keep breathing. Stay tuned in. And come on back. Onto the back. Feet hit the floor. Hips lift. One more stretch. Ankle on, right ankle on top of the left thigh for figure 4. Reach through that heel. A lot of people call this reclined pigeon. Right? I've never used that. It's for my trainees must be taking classes from a teacher that uses it a lot, because a lot of them used it in their sequencing this time around. So it's just kind of funny. I'm like, what is reverse pigeon or a reclined pigeon? I'm like, oh, figure 4. And so bring it on in until you start to feel the outside of that hip or the back side of that glute, getting into definitely the piriformis, but we might be touching some of those other deep 6 muscles as well. Keep going until the body says stop. And release that foot down, other side. So make sure you flex that left foot as you draw the right knee into the chest. Keep that breath going. Tune in, close the eyes, breathe into the stretch. Notice where you feel it on this side. It might be a little different. And release. Stretch those legs out, stretch those arms up, overhead. Take a nice big inhale, stretch long, and exhale. Knees to chest, back to center. Doing anything else there is for your body to do before coming into your final relaxation. So any last stretches, movements the body feels it needs to be ready, and then pick that just right pose for your final relaxation. Maybe it's reclined butterfly with props, maybe it's shavasana, maybe it's legs up the wall. Take a moment. So once you find that just right place, start to settle in. Relaxing is our only goal now. All other effort can subside. Feel the arms and legs get heavy. We'll give the shoulders a little wiggle, give the legs a little wiggle, the hips, whatever you feel needs to wiggle to let it loosen up, to let go. Feeling the shoulders drop heavy into the floor, allowing the arms to release and drop heavy. Feeling everything from those shoulders to the hips sink into the floor. Feel the back side of those ribs take on a little extra weight as you sink the chest and lungs and heart down into the floor. Feel the buttocks sink a little deeper into the floor as you let the pelvis just drop. Feel those legs completely relax. If you're in Shavasana, just feel those legs flop open, like the pinky toes are just going to drop right to the floor. If you're in any other position, just let those legs be in a place where they feel like they can fully relax and get heavy. Working back upward to the throat, neck, and the jaw, and the face. Feel all the muscles in the face and jaw relax. No more clenching. Feel the eyes settle down into the sockets, feeling all the muscles around the eyes relax. Feeling full relaxation in the body in this moment. Connecting with the breath. Feeling the inhales come in, fill you up, come back into your intention. Whatever it was, as you breathe in, feel yourself fill up with that intention, with that thought, that feeling, even if it was a physical one. Connect with it, bring it in, honor it, and then let it go as you exhale. Letting everything go as you exhale, connecting with that sense of release and letting go. On each exhale, inviting you to let go a little more, sink a little deeper. Maybe adding mantra to the breath to help keep the mind here so it's not wandering off onto your to-do list. Noticing where the mind is at in this moment. Bring it back for just a couple more breaths of letting go and being fully present in this moment. Coming back to the breath. As you reconnect with the breath and the body. And slowly starting to move the body. And stretching, wiggling, moving. Until that body feels ready to rise up to seated. Taking your time getting there, keeping your eyes closed. If you can, on your journey to the heart. Anjali Mudra. Landing at that heart center, sitting up tall, tucking the chin, finding the breath again. A little wisdom from the Dalai Lama to bring into our heart space this morning. When you talk, you are only repeating what you already know. But when you listen, there is the opportunity to learn something new. New about ourselves, new about someone else. Right? Taking a nice big inhale right here at the heart center. Bowing down. Saying thank you to yourself for showing up here on your mat this morning, sealing in your practice, sealing in your intention, even if it was just meant for your practice today, sealing it in and taking it off your mat with you, even if it was to stay present while you were on your mat. Maybe you can move that throughout the rest of your day.